Is Jordan Love the best QB in the NFC? We're going to be talking about that. And yes, go pack go, as we're breaking down everything about the Green Bay Packers as we go ahead and continue to break down the NFC North and all those teams. We've already broken down the Bears and what their predictions are. And if you have not followed the show thus far, we're going to be going through each team, and then I'm going to suggest who would win that division. And so in today's video, we're looking at the Green Bay Packers, and we're starting with one of the biggest concerns or biggest storylines in this training camp. Obviously, you can see this on ESPN, but I think that this is huge, okay? Matt LaFleur, it is his third defensive coordinator in 6 seasons. And they are talking about the fact that, look, they are shifting now from the 3-4 over to the 4-3 defense, and they're looking to be aggressive and attack on the defensive end. They went ahead and brought the safety Xavier McKinney over from the Giants. They're looking to go ahead and create a lot of turnovers and make a lot of big plays on the defensive side of the ball. They're talking about the most compelling battle is going to be the kicking game. All right. And so, look, the kickers are absolutely important. They talked about what happened, I guess, in their playoff game against the 49ers. They were talking about some missed kicks in the fourth quarter, which really could have given the Packers a 7-point lead in a playoff loss to the 49ers. So that is how important the kicking game is. And so for the people out there that say, oh, kickers don't matter, kickers absolutely matter, and they especially matter when it comes down to the playoffs. And so this is going to be huge, and I think this is absolutely something that the Packers have to address. And I like the fact that they have several names that they're looking at. Next up, I'd probably say one of the more interesting signings, I think, of the entire offseason, not just with the Packers, is what is going on with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had some pretty good seasons with the Vegas Raiders, and he also had some not so good seasons. And the one thing about Josh Jacobs is, well, he hasn't shown that he can be healthy on a consistent basis. I do not like the fact that the Packers have moved on from Aaron Jones, although I do understand that, hey, the NFL is a business, and it came down to the Packers making a business decision. They wanted him to take a pay cut. He didn't want to, and he signs with a rival in this division, and that is the Vikings. And so we'll be talking about them on another show. But anyway, Jacobs is the younger player at 26, and Jones is 29. But even though, Jacobs is the younger player, I think that Aaron Jones is the far better player. And I like the fact that the Packers have locked themselves into a situation contract-wise that it could be just a one-year rental for them. Because, look, even though Jacobs has a 4-year, $48 million deal, in reality, they're saying it's a one-year trial, and it's only going to be guaranteeing $12.5 million. So if they want to move on, or if they see something in the draft, then this allows them to get out of that. I like that, because I'm not necessarily sold on Josh Jacobs. And I think that this is one of the things that the Green Bay Packers are going to need to really work on, and that is the run game. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. The most impactful addition, and they're saying that, again, it's Xavier McKinney. Obviously, that makes sense, especially when you're going with a new defensive coordinator. They gave him $23 million as far as guaranteed money, and then it looks like they're coming through with a 4-year, $67 million deal. So that is a lot for your safety. And then on top of that, they went out there and they got 3 other safeties. So look, they are going to make sure that they get their back in correct. And look, for the people out there that say the safety is not that big of a deal, go back and look at the Seattle years when they were winning championships and they had Bam Bam back there, just pretty much crushing people on the defensive end, whether it was major hits or just being a linebacker back there, being a ball hawking safety. He's able to go out there and make plays. And so this is something that the Packers wanted to do. They wanted to fix everything on the back end, so it makes a whole bunch of sense. And again, maybe you can bring this guy up for a lot of run support, because again, they're looking to be a bit more aggressive. So I do like that approach. And I think that defense is going to be the key for the Green Bay Packers if they're going going to take the next step. I don't think it's necessarily the offensive end. So as we shift focus now and we start to look at the offensive end, first and foremost, I think that offensively, the one thing that, in my opinion, that the Packers have to do is they've got to run the football better. Okay, I think that overall that was the place where I think that they struggled, in my opinion, even with Aaron Jones. I think that their running percentage was okay. They were 14th in the league. I think that they rushed the football like right around like 42.98%, somewhere in there, which is not bad. They were getting about 4.4 an average as far as running the football, which is pretty good. That's top 10. However, the rushes a game, 26.4 and 18. I think that they're going to have to up that. I think that as they up that, they start to trust in the run game a little bit more. That's going to open up the play action pass down the field for Jordan Love, which I think is going to unlock him a bit more. And then as far as the rushing yards per game, they were 114.9, which is 14th, I think, in the NFL. And so with that being said, I think that they can increase those numbers if they go ahead and they decide to now hand the football off, and you're getting something consistent from Josh Jacobs, 20th overall as far as touchdowns scored. So I think these are things that they're going to have to clean up. And I think that as you run the football better, that's just going to open up the play action and a lot of the things that I would say the Green Bay Packers are going to want to do here. All right. So next up, let's talk a little bit more about, just the defense as a whole. Like, I think that their defense was 17th overall. I think by being a bit more aggressive, that's going to certainly help them out. I think the defensive yards per game, when you look at what the Packers were giving up, they gave up about 335 yards per game. In the playoffs, they gave up quite a bit there. And then also too, when you look at the touchdowns like that they gave up in the playoffs, they gave up looks like they gave up 7. And then when you look at the Chiefs, they only gave up 5. And then you look at the 49ers, they gave up 6 during their playoff run. So I think that, this is just kind of lets you know, from a total defensive standpoint, kind of where these teams are at and what you would need to do as far as where your defense has to be when you're going into these elite rounds in the playoffs, when you're trying to go out there and you're trying to get a Super Bowl or whatever the case may be. You're going to have to lock some people up. So I think that the Packers, by going out here and addressing the defense, that's a great thing. And then offensively, I just want to say that, I love what they've done on the offensive end. I like that they have Christian Watson, they have Wicks, Romeo Dubs, so I love him a lot. Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave. I think that there's enough playmakers out here for Jordan Love to be an elite quarterback in the NFC. I don't think that it's a far stretch for him to be maybe the top quarterback in the NFC. I'm not, I don't think that that's a stretch. Like, I think that he can absolutely do that. I think that now that he's shown that he can be a starter in the NFL, he's shown that he can win a playoff game. He's shown that he can be elusive out of the pocket and extend plays. Like, I think that one of the best things that happened to Jordan Love was he got a chance to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. And for the teams out there that have not got QBs in the past, Washington Commanders, just saying, these guys have had 3 different quarterbacks that have done well, and that is Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, and even a Brett Favre. You can throw him out there, so somehow, some way, the Packers are finding players that are very good at the quarterback position, and they're drafting them. And I think that they're sitting them the right amount of time too. That should be something that should be noted. I think a lot of quarterbacks fail because they get thrown right in. And this was the great thing about Jordan Love. Jordan Love didn't look great in his first start. He did a spot start, and that's okay. They didn't give up on him. They knew that, hey, at some point your time is going to come. Continue to study the playbook, continue to ask the questions, but when your number is called, be ready. And I think Jordan Love has shown that, and I think he's ready now to show that he absolutely was worthy of being the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. So anyhow, that comes down to the prediction. I think they won 9 games last year. I think that they are in line for 13 games this year. I think they're going to win 13 games or more this year. I really do, even though this is going to be a competitive division. Again, we're going to continue to go through some teams, but Yeah, for the Packers fans out there, go Pack go. I think you're going to be saying that to about 13 wins this season. For the fans out there who have been watching the show on YouTube, we definitely appreciate you. And also to the listeners out there on Spotify, I definitely appreciate you there. And for the sponsors who put sponsorship on the show, much appreciation. As usual, this is Real Talk Sports with Rico, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, peace, peace.